Today on Can Haz Armory, some problems in the C-line of the foil and epee that may cause you to have issues on the strip, like in foil your circuit not closing, and in epee your hits to your guard not grounding. Okay, so sometimes in foil and saber, you'll have a situation where you're waving the blade around, or you take a bead or whatever, and you get an off-target light on your side. What has happened is the continuity between the B and the C line hasn't broken. It can usually mean something's loose. In foil, it might be the grip might be loose, the sock might be loose, the guard might be loose, the barrel may be loose, the tip may be coming apart. Sometimes also the socket. And I have had times where people brought me a weapon and the B-line socket's totally gone. It just screwed the nut backs out and this goes flying. Sometimes also the C-line that's loose. This is the ground line here. So if you notice my wiring videos, the first thing I do when I grab a socket is make sure everything's tight. You know, I loosen this one to put the wire on, but that one I get tight. So make sure everything's nice and tight when you put everything together. In saber, it'll fire the off-target light, but it'll still function. In foil, that won't happen. Let's look at epee now. Epee is a little different. It's an open circuit. C is only the ground line. Oops, C's over here. Sorry, only the ground line. Looking at it backwards. And if you have take a bell guard hit and the light fires for your opponent, that means there's a continuity issue with C line. Power is not getting through to ground. First thing you do is check your body cords. You break somewhere up by either end in case of foil. In case of epee, rather. In foil, it could also be a break in the wires as well, either end, mostly in the front end. Foil, epee, either end. If that's good, it could also be something's loose, because again, like in foil, it needs to be tight, or the grip would be tight, but the guard is wobbling, which means the shoulder's punching through, and the guard can't tighten up. Replace the guard. But one thing people never check is right here, the C line. What happens is there are two screws that hold this bracket down here onto the plug body. They're down here, about here, they're flathead, they're the screws, and they hold everything together. Sometimes they get loose. When that happens, that gets loose, this solder tab right here becomes loose from being crushed under the bracket, because that's a connection. Power comes into you take a bell guard hit, power goes into the guard and the bracket, into the solder tab, into the receiver, and then out the wire. So check, make sure this is tight. Again, you watch my Armory videos of doing wiring. What's the first thing you do when you grab the socket? I tighten those two screws and make sure that this is tight, because they have to be. If they're loose, you're not going to have continuity. I had one once where this got so loose, the tab actually moved to the side, and there was actually a gap. So if that was loose, that screw was loose, and tab was over here. There's no way it was going to work. So the tab has to be in contact and under the bracket. That makes continuity. So if you have a C-line issue in epee, if it's not the cord, check right here. A lot of times it's this is loose or that's loose, and that's usually part of the problem. Check your gear. That's what the videos are for. Happy armoring.